Artist Harlows, we're back again. Another week. Like Spinny says, man, we sucked at picks, man. Like your headline says, it's been brutal so far. Spinny, what's going on with us after our tremendous regular season?
Yeah, we're pulling an NFC North bus. We're in the NFC North.
That's the
We're
best way to put it,
going
for sure.
crazy in the regular season and
Yep,
taking
yep.
our L's, taking our fat ones. I mean, the
We really
Rams,
are.
I still thought those rats were going to win that game
So
late.
did I. Gosh.
Um, I don't understand. They moved. We're just going to go into it right now because we're
Let's
on
do
it.
it. Let's do it.
Um, they moved the ball down the field like the Eagles were Swiss cheese those last 2 or 3 drives, and then on the last drive it was like, oh, they're just gonna go score again. This is easy money, and then they get down there and just stop. I would have bet a lot of money on the Rams scoring a touchdown on that drive. That was a great step up by Philly's D. I could not believe it, to be honest with you.
And honestly, the story from that game was Saquon Barkley. This man just continues to not be able to be stopped this season. It's just insane what he's been doing. Saw the stat that he's up to third or fourth now in a complete season in rushing yards, playoffs and regular season combined. So literally a truly historic season. It's crazy to think about that from the perspective of where we're at with football, right? Like it seems to be such more passing game, but we kind of got back to the running backs a little bit this year. You know, he had over 2,000 yards. Derrick Henry had 1,900 yards. Like seemed to be a running back season. So what do you think about that? Like the switch back to the running backs.
I mean, I like it. I think it shows that it is winnable that way. But I mean, of the other 3 teams definitely don't win the ball that way, or win the game that way,
Right.
So, and
Yeah.
that's definitely not where you're looking with those teams. But I think it is winnable. I mean, even Kansas City, right? Kansas City's going to run the ball a lot. They still did. They still ran their of more of a West Coast anti-Andy Reid style offense this year. That game was close in the box score, but I mean, it never felt like Houston had any actual chance to win.
I mean, only
Um,
one touchdown in the game for them.
yeah, the Lions turned the ball over too much. That was the story of that
That's
one.
the story of that one.
And
5
Jaden looking
turnovers.
awesome. Yeah, I mean, like both of those things were true. Um, and then Ravens Bills was Lamar's crappy first half, and then Mark Andrews late. I mean, though that was that game as well. I think it was nip and tuck the whole way. Buffalo did a much better job of taking care of the ball and not turning it over, and
Yep.
that's why they won the game. I still think Baltimore's the better team. I still think Baltimore wins that game 7 out of 10 times, even just after watching that. But you can't lose the turnover battle 3-0 and have your second best player, have your third best player drop a 2-point conversion to tie the game late. It's just,
Wide
and
open.
then fumbled the drive before that. It's
Yeah.
just you're not going to win.
416 yards for the Ravens compared to 273 for the Bills. Like you said, literally the difference between a lot of these games here was just the turnovers. 3 turnovers compared to 0 for the Bills. Lions had 5. Commanders had 0. Like that was the story of the divisional round. Like you said about the Chiefs, they just the scoreboard was close. They kind of took control. Shout out to you for saying you were expecting a classic Travis Kelce playoff game because I think you said about 10 catches, but he had 7, so close enough for 117 and a touchdown.
He is at that point. He is like LeBron 4 to 2 years ago, where it's like, for a playoff run, he can like lead your team and lead you to wins and do that, but not for a
Yeah,
whole season long. We kind of
right.
saw that in 2020. Like he got this big break and he came back, and it's like I can be this guy for a playoff run, and I think that's where Kelsey's at right now. We've just seen the difference in his abilities playoff to regular season. I mean, the last 2 years. So I'm just gonna again, we're back to Kansas
He's
City where it's just like I'm just gonna believe it until they don't do it because
exactly
they've done it enough. I
for
just
real.
have to.
They have to, literally. One last question I have for you before we leave the divisional round. It's about Jay Daniels,
Mm.
legend Jay Daniels. Where would you rank him already among the league's best QBs? What QBs are you taking over him? Obviously Mahomes, obviously Josh
Mahomes,
Allen,
Allen, Lamar taking over him.
and then it gets debatable already, doesn't it?
I mean,
Or are we
I
for
mean
sure
those
still taking Burrow over him?
Burrow too, Burrow too,
Okay, so
100%.
those
I mean,
four.
like that was crazy this year what they did with that atrocious team. Cause like I'm probably taking him over Herbert, probably
I
taking
think
him
so.
over Stroud. Like that's a real debatable one in my opinion, but it's probably slightly Jaden at this point. I
Yep.
mean, anybody else? I don't think there's a. I mean, this might be biased, but I'm still staking Matt Stafford over him too. But that might be a biased opinion. But that's another
Matt
guy I'm still
Stafford,
taking
come
over him.
on, Spinny.
I am, dude. He
No,
is
you're not.
nasty. Yes, I am. He has still been unbelievable even when he's healthy. When he's healthy, he's been unbelievable.
Jaden had a better season though. Statistically, they had just as many wins, actually probably more. Yeah,
Yeah.
10 wins.
Jaden's probably the logical choice, but I'm just saying.
Hard as Hardos, get after this man and his love for Matt Stafford. This dude's like 80
Matt
years old.
Stafford's a god, dude. Matt Stafford's awesome. Like, this guy is just
He's a
performing
god, huh?
playoff
Is he a
after
first
playoff
ballot
game.
Hall of Famer?
Okay, I mean, no,
I
probably.
mean,
No, I mean, yeah, probably,
he
actually.
probably is, yeah.
Yeah, by the time
I
he's
would
said
say
and
he
done
probably
and
is.
where all his stats rank, he's like first to thousand, whatever
Yeah,
thousand passing yards a bunch of times, like all
exactly.
that
He's
type of
got the
stuff. He
ring.
got his Super Bowl,
Yep.
you know. So yeah, at first ballot might be a little greedy, but he's for sure a Hall of Famer lock.
Oh, easily. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All right, before we dive in to the championship games, we are going to briefly run through these coaching hires. It's hiring season for these teams. We're going to run through them all real quick. New York Jets hired Aaron Glenn as their head coach, who was the defensive coordinator for the Lions. Spinning your first thought on this hire.
Jets are gonna jet. I don't know.
Literally, what?
That's just like it's just
Why?
dumb. It's just
Why
really
are we
dumb. I
firing
mean, like
Robert Saleh, a defensive coordinator? Not saying he did a good job. Obviously, I was on his ass all year. But why are we firing a defensive coordinator just to hire a new one? I just don't understand that. The offense was the issue the majority of the season.
but like Bowles, Mangini, Herm, Rex Ryan, like
Like,
everyone except Nat Hackett has been the same
literally.
guy. The same
Exactly.
guy.
Exactly.
Don't get it.
Jets are going to
Don't get it.
Jets.
Jets are gonna
Maybe he'll
jet.
be the one to turn it around, but I just don't know. I can't trust that owner, Woody Johnson, man. Until he
Are you
says
gonna
it.
develop a quarterback one time? One time you're gonna get a guy who can develop a
Literally.
quarterback or not? Or are you just gonna say F the most important position in the league?
Yep.
It's just
Yep.
absolutely I I don't get it.
It's pretty consensus, I think, among the draft experts that there's only two quarterbacks in this class too, and they're sitting late towards that back end of the top 10 too. So they might not even be able to get one this year either. And who knows? Rodgers might even retire. I mean, he was terrible this year the way it was. So I have no idea what that Jets franchise is doing. If I'm being honest, I don't know what direction they're headed.
Aaron Glenn with the former player angle there for them. So I get why he took the
It's
job
true.
probably from that
Yes.
perspective, but like it's not a good job.
Right. Bears. They took the other coordinator from the Lions. Ben Johnson went to the Bears. Obviously, as a Vikings fan, this kind of scares me a little bit. But Spinny, are the Bears just Bears in here, and they're just cursed forever, or is this a guy that's actually going to come in and change that offense a little bit and get Caleb Williams rolling?
Ben and Caleb scare me for sure. Ben
Yeah.
has said I've listened to a lot of the press conferences, other than randomly calling out Matt LaFleur, classic Bears,
Yeah.
calling out the Packers. If
Why?
you're the Bears
Why?
head coach, you have to in every introductory press conference. It's just like a law, apparently. And they're not like friends either, so it's not like funny. It was just like a random shot at Matt LaFleur, which I thought was a little wild. But Ben's going to come in and mold an offense around Caleb, which is, I think, something that he brings that's quite different than even some of these like big coordinators. that big offensive coordinators that are like, let me put you in my system and I'm going to be effective with you. Whereas Ben's more like, let me build this thing from the ground up around you and what you do well. So
Yes.
that is going to, if he can command the culture, if he can like do that part of it, the Dan Campbell half of the job place he was just at, then I think it'll be great. That's my only question about that piece of it is if the culture building and the belief in him and all that. I have no doubt X's and O's and play calling and building an offense. I shouldn't say no doubt, but I believe that he can be successful in that aspect. There's a
I
little
mean,
bit
we
of doubt when
saw it.
you're a first time head coach and
Right,
nobody
right.
knows.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it these last couple of years with the Lions. I mean, he took them from obviously Dan Campbell and him and Glenn, like all of them together. They took the Lions from a poverty franchise to now one of the best teams in the NFC. And a lot of that has to do with Ben Johnson and his play calling for sure. What he was able to do with Jared Goff. That was an excellent point you made. He builds around the players that he has. He didn't just try to implement his own system with Jared Goff. He wanted to do what worked well for Jared Goff and the rest of his players. So yeah, that was a great point. I think he's going to do exactly the same thing in Chicago. Jacksonville Jaguars hired Liam Cohen. He was the coordinator for the Bucks. For those that don't know, apparently there's some drama going on with this hire here. Spinning, do you know anything about that?
Well, he took himself out of the Jacksonville hire originally, and then the Bucks were like, "Okay, we'll make you the highest paid OC or the highest paid coordinator."
Yes.
Um, and then, I mean, allegedly there was him and Bulky did not, or Skolky or whatever Ulkey's name is there, didn't didn't get along in the interview. Not get along from a personality, but just didn't click in a GM head coach way that you have to, and then it sounds like he went to Shad Khan and was like, "Hey, I don't think I can work with this guy." Khan takes a day, fires him. Then Cohen goes back. They work the deal out, and he's the Jags head coach. Bucks kind of were like, "We'll make you the highest paid if you take yourself out of this job running and take it right now." He said yes, then turned it around and went back. So I think that's a little bit where the hate is from the
Right.
Bucks side. But like, I mean, this man had them fourth in passing offense. Definitely Baker's best season as a
Oh yeah.
quarterback in his career. So I think when you have the
Fourth in points
ability
per
to,
game.
yeah, when you have the ability to do that, I just think you're going to get hired in the NFL right now. If you make an offense look like that with someone who hasn't looked like that before, we've seen that a few times recently, and those coaches just always get jobs.
Am I sensing some Liam Cohen faith for your T Law love over there, Spinny, or what? Is he gonna
I
turn that
mean,
around?
I like it. I like it. I think they've got some talent in Jacksonville. I think ETN can be a weapon. I think
Brian
Brian Thomas
Thomas?
showed us he can definitely be a weapon. Um, and I mean, the guy with the biggest T Law train guy in America right here, it's his make or break year. It really is.
It
Like if
is,
I don't
man.
see
Thank you
something
for
like
finally saying it.
I
Yes.
I finally have to, as much as I
You
hate
have to.
saying it,
Yes.
it is. Like he has to make it happen at this point.
Yeah, he does. I mean, there was a lot of people that thought they'd be playoff bound this year. Obviously ended up getting hurt. He only played 10 games, but he went 2-8 in those 10 games. So
Yeah.
definitely a make or break season upcoming here for Trevor Lawrence. All right, two more hires to go through. Spinning, the Patriots hired Mike Vrabel. Obviously, me and you, we both love Mike Vrabel. We've said that on this pod many times. So I personally love this hire, especially coming in and taking over. Going to be a sophomore quarterback in Drake May. I think that's exactly what Drake May needs is a good coach like this. So I personally love it, but I don't know what you think.
I mean, I love it. Vrabel said what he wanted. He wanted a owner and GM that he could communicate and work well with. We obviously know that's the case.
Exactly.
He wanted a quarterback that had future promise, which he definitely has. I mean, Drake May looked awesome. Some awesome, awesome moments at the end of last year, and that was with an offensive line that couldn't block for more than 24 seconds. Not 24 seconds,
Yeah.
0.24 seconds.
Point. Yeah.
Couldn't block at all. And I think that we know that Josh McDaniels is a great coach in New England. He can't coach anywhere else, but
Yeah,
in
literally.
New England, he's an awesome offensive coordinator. So I have faith in that working. I mean, Vrabel and McDaniels have obviously worked together a bunch. You know, he was a
Yep.
player when McDaniels coached there and all that. So there's going to be some cohesion. I mean, they're not going to be good right away, but it took him a couple of years in Tennessee, and he made
Yeah.
them better than they were supposed to be right away. You know, so I think it could be a 6-7 win season here for New England this year, and then they're just going to slowly build. That's kind of been the Vrabel model.
I mean, he took a 9-7 team to the AFC Championship led by Ryan Tannehill. I think this guy's a pretty high quality coach, but what do I know, I guess. Also, not to mention, Spinny, the Patriots have $100 million in cap space this offseason. So, new coaches, a lot of money to improve the roster. Let's see what they're able to do with that.
And pick three question mark pick
I
four.
think it's three or four. Yeah,
Okay,
3 or 4.
yeah. So they have a top five pick as well, which is
Yeah,
going to be nice.
which I mean, in their
Travis Hunter
situation,
inbound.
yeah, you either just take Travis Hunter or whoever's there, or you
That might
trade
involve a
back.
trade up. Yeah,
Yeah, and get even more assets. So we'll see
they
what
need
they end up doing.
weapons on offense though.
Yes, big time. T. Higgins question mark? I heard rumors about that. He's a free agent.
I mean, that would make sense. That would make a
Right.
crap ton of sense.
Yeah.
Higgins and May, it's kind of May's style, fits with Higgins' receiving style. I don't know if T. Higgins is a WR1 on a team like that. It'd be interesting to see, but he'd be 3 times better than any pass catcher they
Yes.
have on their team. So
By far, for sure. All right. Last head coach just happened today. Las Vegas Raiders hired Pete Carroll. Spinny, I think you're going to be more optimistic about this hire than me. I just truly don't understand why. I just don't get it. I just think he's a little too old, and I don't know what he's going to do in Las Vegas. They just don't have a roster, and I don't know if he's a guy to kind of build it long term, given how old he is, and maybe he is. Maybe he's going to prove me wrong because he was obviously a tremendous coach in the past. But this seems like a weird hire to me.
okay, so here's what I see a lot. The GM that was in Tampa when they hired Arians with Brady is the GM in Vegas right now.
Okay,
Brady's the owner. I think there's a lot of influence
right?
there. Hire an old coach out of retirement that is a player relationship coach. He can build a
Yep.
culture. Everyone, I mean, like, you don't get like Lynch and Sherman and Wagner and Baldwin and like all those guys from various different places that didn't even like each other at some points all say positive things now about Pete and the way he builds relationships and the fact that they've never had a coach like that before. So I think that's some of it
That's
is
true.
there is experience there with what was done in Tampa, and that it could set up a culture and kind of turn the team around. And then maybe if it's not long term, you know, at least it's changing the direction that the franchise is going. The man is 73, but
Yeah,
like coach is coach, and he's not. And this is so weird to say, but it's just such a young 73. Like Pete Carroll's like still the Energizer Bunny in my book. Like the relationship piece isn't a big deal, which is one thing with older coaches like Bill that you worry about. And the energy piece is not an issue either, in my opinion. I think he's got a lot of that left and wants to be a coach. So it's like the two things I worry about with older coaches, I don't really worry about necessarily with Pete.
that's fair. That is fair. All right, Spinny, any last thoughts about these head coaches you want to hire or shout out any offensive coordinators that have been hired or anything like that? Otherwise, we will dive in to these championship games.
Love the KOC resign.
Let's go. We forgot to mention that. Of course, we had to mention that. Let's go.
Yes, loved that. Love the fact that it seems like B-Flow is not gonna get a head coaching
Not.
job.
Oh,
That that I
yes.
like. I love it and I
Thank
hate it.
you.
I hate it for him because I think he
Yeah.
would be
Right,
good at
right, right.
one, and I want him to get that opportunity. But like for the Vikes, man,
Oh
that makes
my
me
gosh.
real happy
Let's
that if
go.
we get another season of KOC and
Oh,
B-Flow.
oh, it's going to be amazing. All right. Championship Sunday, Spinny. 2 p.m. The NFC Championship. Commanders visiting the Eagles in a divisional matchup. Third time they've played each other this season. They split in the regular season with the home team winning both of those games. So, Spinny, 6-point favorite for the Eagles. What are your initial thoughts here?
I don't care if you listen to the Al
Don't
Travis
do it.
show on Thursday. You already
Don't do it.
know I'm picking the Commanders in this game.
No!
100%
No, dude.
taking Jaden
No.
Daniels, taking the Commanders. Give them to
I'm
me.
supposed
I
to take
want
them.
them. No,
Oh
you're
my
not.
gosh.
You're
Look
the
at my
favorites
headline.
guy.
Look
You're
at my
the
headline.
favorites guy. The favorites guy. Be who you are, Bus. Now stop flippity flopping on me. You're the
Oh,
favorites guy.
look at my
I
headline,
think the
man.
Commanders could win this game. You have to stop
Yes.
Saquon Barkley. You have to stop Saquon Barkley. You have to make Jalen Hurts beat you in the passing game.
Yes.
You have to try. It's going to be hard. Their O-line's so good. But it's going to be high scoring. I think Jaden can score on this Eagles D. But you have to stop Saquon Barkley.
I mean, do you think they can?
It's going to be fun to see if they can.
I'm a little worried about the weather aspect. Obviously, the weather was pretty shitty in Philadelphia this past week. Maybe it might be shitty again. If it turns to that type of game where it's a lot of running because of the snow, then I am very worried for the Commanders. But since Spinny is insisting I take a favorite here, and since Spinny and I have been sucking so bad at picks in the playoffs, I'm at 5 points. He's at 4. We got to switch it up a little bit, man. We can't have the same picks like we did last week. So I guess I'll pick the Eagles, even though clearly I wanted them based on my headline. So this is all your fault, but I'm taking the Eagles, I guess.
That
Let's
was
go
the biggest
Saquon.
cop-out pick I've ever heard in
I,
my
I
life.
didn't want
Because
them. I didn't want them.
next week, if the Commanders win, he's going to be like, yeah, I didn't even want to pick the Commanders, but you forced me, so you're basically going to get it right either way, just playing the stupid choice game.
That is you. That is
What do you?
literally what you
I have
always
no
do.
idea what you're talking about. Literally never
Oh
done
my
that in my life.
gosh.
Hardy's
Especially
Ruggles
when
will
it
back
comes to
me
the
up.
Timberwolves. Especially when it comes to
What
the
are you
Timberwolves.
talking about? I'm just
The
motivating them. Motivating them.
playoff.
Come on.
Get out of here.
Just
All right.
motivating them.
What is what's the game plan for the Eagles? Obviously just slow down the pass game.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing,
Yeah,
right?
dude. Throw the ball as little as possible. Keep it on the ground. Play the game you've been playing the whole year. Use your size and physicality up front
Yes.
to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Yeah. It's gonna be interesting to see. I always love when it's a divisional matchup like this. Brings in good
Fun.
rivalries. So I love it. It's gonna be
Yeah.
fun. 5:30, the Bills visiting the Chiefs. Hey, you're the one who said you wanted to be the underdog guy. Go ahead, take them on the road. Take them. Take the Bills. Take them. I'll take the favorite. 2 point.
I'm not taking the Bills. There's zero chance
Come
I'm
on,
taking the Bills.
you have to do it. You have to do
I
it. I'm the
also
favorite
said
guy.
earlier. I will pick the Chiefs until they lose. I will.
Correct. We've been
I will
saying that.
gladly get
Yes.
it wrong, because it's just been too much. So, Kansas City in this game. If we end up with the Kansas City Commanders Super Bowl, I will kind of be sad because I feel like it's a locked three-peat at that point. If
Yeah, I would
Chiefs
agree.
will be 7 to 9 point favorites in that game, I think.
Which would be wild. It'd be
Which
wild
is a
for a Super Bowl.
wild Super Bowl line. I also don't want to see Eagles Chiefs again either, though. I really don't. I I know where that's going to end up. It's
So
going to
are we
end up
low
with.
key rooting for Bills Commanders here?
I mean, I am. I just don't. I feel like I'm Cavs Golden State, where it's just like, all right, I guess.
Yes.
Geez. It's
All
like,
right, here we
okay.
go again. Yep.
Yeah. And I just know how that game's going to end. I know it's going to be one possession. Philly's probably going to be up by 2-4. Chiefs are going to get the ball back with like a minute 12 and 2 timeouts, and Mahomes going to drive,
Yeah.
win the freaking
Yep.
game, and it's going to just. I could write the storyline of the game already
We know.
before it happens.
We already know.
And I just don't. I'm just looking for a little change of pace here, NFL. I don't think you're going to give it to me, but I hope I can get it.
No, you're completely right. We definitely know exactly what's going to happen in this game. That's why it's a 2-point spread, right? They ain't giving you the 3.5. Oh, so we're both taking the Chiefs home team, like you said. We just can't pick against them. I will say though, I do think the winner of this game is going to win the Super Bowl, even if it's the Bills. Do you agree or disagree? I think the winner of the AFC is winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I think the AFC's been better than the NFC this whole year. So that's probably, and I like Bills, Ravens, Chiefs. Like those are the three teams I was the most confident in the
That's what
entire
I'm
year,
saying.
other than the
Yeah,
Lions. Those three and the Lions
yeah.
were the teams I was the most confident in. The Lions obviously lost, so that's
Number
where we're
four.
going as well.
Number four for Mahomes. What would that mean for his legacy? I mean, me and you already have him as number two, but that would pretty much solidify it for anyone else who doesn't, right?
I mean, yeah, he's number two. I mean,
Yeah.
there's gonna be a ton of people arguing he's number one already. A ton.
You know it's gonna be me. I'm gonna be that guy. Just to piss you off, I'm gonna be that guy.
It's a long way from seven soups, but I mean, man, a
Correct.
three-peat, that's
Correct.
something that, Brady never did and is kind
No
of
one's done
like,
it. No one's done it.
no, it's NFL icon status instantly, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, we're talking the second best player to play quarterback of all time.
Yeah. For sure. All right, Spin, any final thoughts about these championship weeks? Otherwise, winner of these games are heading to New Orleans for the Super Bowl.
Let's go Commanders. That's going to be the
Let's
hard
go.
route for
I
me.
agree.
I want Allen to keep that game close, but I don't know if there's really any chance. Like, not any chance. I just like there is a chance. Obviously, the Bills are a great team this year, but I just don't. I just have so much confidence in Mahomes. It's like it's the Brady thing. It's like when Brady and Manning played in the playoffs. Like, yeah, Brady lost some, but like I went into every single one of those games with an unworldly amount of confidence as someone who is rooting for Tom. And that's just how I feel in the Mahomes Allen matchups too.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Harris Hardos. Be on the lookout, man. It's going to be a fun Sunday. Let's see. Comment below who you guys got in these games. Let us know. But man, I can't wait. This is the best time of the year, Spinny.
Let's get it. Hug your friends and family, Hardies and Hardos. Thanks for
Yes, sir.
listening.
Appreciate y'all.